Hello, my chickadees. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's doing great because we're about to start another live stream. As promised, we're going to be checking out slow damage today. Let's see. Do. There we go. Alright, let me just get everything fixed here. Do. Now, this is a boys love visual novel, but the first couple hours are safe, so I'll be able to stream it. If we like the game a lot, I might move it to Patreon later, but for right now, it's just gonna be checking out the beginning of it. Alright, let's get all the volume adjusted. Ooh, it has some nice music. Oh, I see a shadow of somebody back there. Oh goodness, all this stuff keeps popping up. There we go. Oh, he's gone now. But this is a really interesting menu. Like, the canvas is starting a new story. And then here's exit. And tools. Extra. Ooh, I haven't got that yet. That's pretty cool. I wish I would have clicked on the shadow dude when he was up. But this is a very interesting menu. So far, it's speaking to me. So we're going to go on in and check this out. Oh, hey! Oh, he's fainting. Okay, you've stabbed it. Never mind. Let's see. Ooh. Thank you for purchasing slow damage. Before we begin, here's a helpful explanation of the interrogation gameplay segments. Oh no, we gotta interrogate people. I like that boy's scar. I like the boy on the right. He's speaking to me. You'll need this information because interrogation can be tricky. You'll be able to skip the tutorial on next gameplays. Doing so will progress the story. That's your ultimate objective in every Talk to him and try to expose his secret. The text you see in your memo pad will serve as a hint. Act accordingly to make progression in the interrogation. That being said, it's only a hint and isn't necessarily always the right choice. Your choices will determine the outcome. Okay, so we'll have a timer. Next, let's talk about the hourglass and jagged lines. Oh, hello, Ohilia. Welcome in. Toya is baby girl. I love him. He's the MC, by the way. Okay, so is that the MC on the screen right now? The hourglass represents your target's euphoria level. Fill the hourglass to the line at the middle and the sand will start glowing. This means you've reached full euphoria. As you approach full euphoria, the red line will flash, letting you know you're almost there. The purple line at the bottom is the minimum base for euphoria. If the sand should fall below this line, we're screwed. No, the boy with the scar is? The boy with the scar is the main character? Okay, I love that. It will result in a game over, so be careful. The sand will glow to warn you if you start to get too close. The jagged line represents the target's madness. In other words, their emotional wounds. As their wounds are ripped open, madness will increase. At full madness, the hourglass will start to crack like so. As the wound closes, madness will decrease. Achieving full euphoria will complete the interrogation. Route branching only occurs during important story scenes, but high euphoria will grant a euphoria bonus. Low madness will inflict a madness penalty. And high madness will grant a madness bonus. You get a penalty for low madness, but you get a bonus for high madness? Okay, so we want people to go crazy. Sakumo, hello! Welcome in! We are just getting started, and I'm learning how to interrogate, apparently. We are just checking out slow damage this week. I hope you... Hello, kitty! I hope you find it interesting, because I have no clue what's going on so far. This includes the tutorial. To check your objective, move the cursor to the right-hand edge of the screen. Okay. Ah! Ow! Oh, kitty! Ooh! So that's the main character? He's got little scars and an eye patch? Oh, yes. You're the vampire everyone's talking about, right? No, I'm not a vampire. Give a positive... Oh gosh, we're interrogating right away. Give a positive response to agree or a negative response to disagree. During the interrogation, you can respond with negative or positives. Positive? Passive answers are negative, while more assertive answers are positive. The decision will affect your target's euphoria and madness. He looks truly miserable. Their status is displayed at the bottom of the screen. So choose carefully to raise their euphoria. As for raising their madness, why don't you give it a try? He looks really miserable. Press him, respond calmly. Deny it all you want, but that's how people see you. Here's where you use interrogation. Inspiration gained by talking to people with exploration segments. Use inspiration to dig deeper. I didn't think we'd have a full-on tutorial. I thought this was just gonna be a visual novel. Okay, I want to drink it so bad. Totally miserable, man. Say nothing. Want to drink what so bad? Talk more. Impact your targets. Fact gives choice and two choice answers A or B. Sequential questions A to B. Okay, they're losing me here. And even two choice answers A or B that leads to if this all sounds confusing, don't worry. Use your inspiration whenever you see something you want to ask more about. And unlike negative or positive, you can always choose not to use your inspiration at all. It's a very interactive one. Oh no. I thought we'd have a chill day today. No. Sometimes the best option is say nothing at all. Bait him? Now let's try it out. You want to drink blood, right? From race interests. You must be miserable. You must be miserable. It must be excruciating for you. Shut up. What kind of noise is that? Oh, we made him a little madder. Oh my gosh, tutorial, just let me be. Let me jump in. I'm not gonna remember any of this. Now, let's go over special objectives. Not target. Okay. See how the hourglass is painted over black? It tells you that euphoria is not the goal this time. When the hourglass is black, madness is the goal. So we're trying to make him lose it. And on rare occasion, just pick the one you think they will like and how you can get to your goal. Okay. And on rare occasions, the goal may be to avoid full madness. You'll have to judge for yourself depending on the circumstances. In situations where euphoria is not the goal, don't let the sand fall too low or it's game over. Means the goal is changed black. Ooh. The scar. The man's deepest desire. He has a scar on his neck? I didn't even pay attention to that. If you... Oh my god. If you feel the Fury Gauge within the specific number of turns, you can use the clues acquired in the story to rip open the target's secret scars. Pick the right clue and the wound will open, progressing the story. Be careful, the wrong choice will lower the Fury Gauge. If you haven't reached... Once it's time to choose a clue, game over. And if you fall below the Fury line, that's game over too. Now, use the clue and see if you can open this man's secret scar. I will if you let me, game! This is why we have walkthroughs. Yeah, I understand walkthroughs are important, but it's just aggravating me today. Okay, man's secret's desire. He's thirsty. Are you thirsty? You want some num-nums? They don't have scars as a metaphor for opening their deep desires. Okay, well, opening wound. Okay. Okay, what this concludes the interrogation tutorial. If you ever liked a refresher, check the interrogation section of how to play. Without further ado, welcome to Slow Damage. Okay. I'm not going to remember any of that, but okay. I'm just here for the sexy boys, okay? The human heart is soft, like a fistful of fine sand. So, you must be very careful with how you handle it. Okay. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. I never imagined my wish would come true. You've made me so happy. Drip, drip, drip. It started to rain. Very hard. Mindlessly, I moved my brush. The patter of the rain mingled with the faint scritching of the paint spreading across the canvas. The sound slowly filled my empty head. It felt like my insides were melting in the heat of the dark desire I had just harvested. But before that feeling faded away entirely, I needed to get it out of my system. I needed to capture it on the canvas. Just the sound of a light rainfall in England. That was like a downpour.
Oi.
Hey. Okay. Hello? Ah! Guys, I was just trying to go to the next one. What are you doing? There we go.
Oi. 起きろ。いつまで寝てるんだ。
Can I mute the voices? Hey, you sleep too much. A familiar deep voice spoke into my ear, summoning back into the waking world. Was it morning or closer to noon? Was it later than that? I slept like the dead, and my perception of time was shot. I lifted my head from the sofa where I lay face down. My eyelids were practically glued shut. Blinking, I forced them open. What time had I gone to bed last night? Definitely sometime past midnight. At some point, I had passed out on the sofa.
もう昼だぞ。出勤時間がとうに過ぎてる。
It's already noon, pal. Your shift started hours ago. How did I... At this, I sluggishly pushed myself up into a sitting position. A doctor? The other man peered closely at me, excluding orange smoke. This was, Takuma, or Taku for
お
short.
前な、常々思ってるんだな。本当に働く気があるのか？
I don't think you can. Most people that play this game don't voice act the voices. You don't need to. Yeah, but then everybody's got to read. You know, I keep wondering, do you ever even give a damn about this job? Yeah.
おい、ちゃんと目を見て返事しろ。
Hey, look me in the eye when you speak to me. I looked up into Taku's reproachful eyes. His brow was furrowed deeply. I said yes. As I spoke, I grabbed a pack of cigarettes off the coffee table, pulled one out and put it in between my lips.
あのな、悠長にタバコを吸ってる暇があるなら、とっとと起きて支度しろってんだ。
Look here, buddy. You don't have time to kick back with a cigarette. Get your ass up and get dressed. Right as I lit my cigarette and took my first slow drag, Taku reached out and ruffled my hair. I shook my head slightly to knock his hand away. Good grief. Taku let out an exaggerated sigh. His other arm carried a stack of clean clothes. He was the sort of busybody who would periodically come into my apartment to clean and do laundry. According to him, it would turn into a pigsty otherwise. And he was correct.
ここに置いておくぞ。
I'll just leave these here. He set the clean laundry on the bed, then turned to the door.
しかしこの部屋、ほんと油臭いよな。
I gotta say, this room really reeks of paint fumes. Well, we're a painter. With no ventilation. Oh, now you care.
ま、
Nah, I don't really mind it. Oh, it looked like a little bunny on our
ちょっ
nightstand.
とお前、またテレビつけっぱなしだったぞ。いい加減ちゃんと消してから寝ろよ。
Oh yeah, and another thing. You keep leaving the TV on. You need to turn that crap off before you go to sleep. I'll try.
多分ってなんだ。
You'd better.
それじゃ、下で待ってるぞ。早く来いよ。
Anyway, I'll be downstairs. Hurry down, alright? And with that, he left. The paint smell could be traced to the stuff I'd piled over in the corner. A bunch of canvases, a slapdash collection of paints, a well-worn palette, and a handful of brushes. And a bunny! There's a bunny there! I see it! And alcohol. A forest of rectangular canvases, a disorganized pile of paints, old, worn-out palettes and brushes. But the fumes didn't bother me. Or maybe I was just used to them by now. I leaned back against the sofa, cigarette between my lips, forcing my fuzzy brain to think. What happened yesterday? I bit back a yawn. My body felt like lead. Dude, you're all scratched up, buddy. Oh, that's right. Yesterday, I'd gone out late at night to drink at the usual place. Then some rando started talking to me. I was totally blitzed, so when he invited me to leave, I jumped at the chance without even looking at him. Okay, hang on a second. Where'd my thing go? People that don't know about the bunny. Oh, cute. People that know about the money. Oh no. So bunny caused like a lot of trauma. Now I'm worried about the bunny too. Alright, give me a second here. You'll find out in 50 hours. Oh my god, that's way too long. That's too long. How long is this game? 50 hours. That was way too long. Well, I can't say much. I've played a game longer than that. But that's a long game, 50 hours. Twitter loves this man, and do too. According to Reddit, around 60 hours? Holy crap, is that including all the routes, or just, like, one playthrough? We'll continue here in a second. I'm just taking a snack break. He is pretty. I know almost nothing about him so far, but he is pretty. Yeah, all the routes. Every route is around 15 to 17 hours. Okay. That's more normal. So, okay. More understandable now. Must have quite a few routes, though. Sounds like he had an interesting night. Even I couldn't tell you why I was so worked up. Now my back ached from being slammed up against a brick wall. Well, you should have thought of that before, huh? Alright. Here we go. That guy wasn't much of a lay. Yeah, Nah, just 4, but there are so many other characters and so much plot. Really? Okay. Not that button, apparently. How old was he? 20? No, maybe early 30s? Regardless, I must have accidentally taken too many pills when I got home because I slept like a log. It was Taku who prescribed them to me in the first place, since I'd always been kind of an insomniac. On the nights I didn't take them, I'd either have a terrifying nightmares or I'd drift in and out of sleep all night long, sometimes until noon. Last night I was so drunk I couldn't remember how many I'd taken. Nothing new though. I knew you weren't supposed to take medicine with alcohol in your system. As a result, I always feel like shit. Taku kept telling me to knock it off, but I had no plans to stop. He's like, I reject your decision. I reject your advice. I pinched the cig between my fingers, drew my sleeve to my nose, and took a whiff. It reeked of booze, smoke, and sweat. I knew Taku wanted me downstairs ASAP, but I needed a shower. Last time I went to work in this state, the elderly patients all gave me dirty looks. Right. Cigarette in mouth, I rose to my feet and stretched, but then I became aware of my empty stomach. With the idle realization that my body was hungry, I slid my gaze over the table and floor. What I thought wasn't food but booze. Dude, you need food! You need food! I seem to remember leaving a half-empty bottle somewhere around here, but I couldn't find it. Did Taku move it? If so, he probably put it back in the fridge, but to me, getting stuff out of the fridge was too much effort. If you offered me food or alcohol, I'd take the booze without hesitation. Towa is 90% alcohol and 5% honey toast and 100% semen. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, that sums up his character. Food never interests me much. Boy, you need food. Food? With nothing to drink, my only option was to take one last drag, then crush my cigarette in the ashtray. Dude, you could look in the fridge, you lazy boy. He is so lazy. I mean, he wasn't lazy last night in the alleyway, but... Sorry, I was eating a Fig Newton and it kind of took up my whole mouth there. As I exhaled gray smoke, I trudged into the bathroom and stepped into the shower stall. Well, at least he's gonna be clean. Oh! Are we at the title screen now? Yes! Ooh, see? There is a bunny. Taku! Gray! Madrama! Fuji, Togi, Sagi, a lot of people. Ooh. Oh no, what happened to that boy? Dude, you look like a shrimp. With your back bit like that. Alright, that was a cool opening. Tokyo, in the year 20 something. 2020 something. This intro is giving me PTSD. After Japan went to the great lengths to host the Olympic Games, the international sporting event ended in record-breaking failure. Burdened with massive debt, the nation was plunged into economic insecurity. The poverty rate, which had been slowly growing since the late 2010s, showed no sign of abating. Then, starting in the early 2020s, the gulf between the rich and the poor widened dramatically. Young people in particular were especially impoverished, and the underemployment rate soared to more than 60% for both men and women. Even with a full-time job, they knew they would be overworked and underpaid. Thus, the suicide rate shot up. Also increasing exponentially among young people for the first time ever, homelessness and crime rates. The nation of Japan was visibly heading into a decline. This was a major recession on a historic level. The one outliner was Shinkoumi. Previously called Tokyo Waterfront City, this was the only part of the country where casinos were legally allowed to operate. As a result, it was re-established as a special economic zone. But the government's infamous casino bill received criticism on all sides. At the start of the construction, the hired contractor, the Takasato-gumi, was suspected of rigging bids out of the contract. After a tremendous struggle, they eventually settled on a more realistic proposal. The bill would only legalize small-scale public casinos in specific areas. When the dust settled, all that remained was a steel-frame monument on a vacant lot in a community of prostitutes and vagrants. But then there came a turning point. The leader of the Takasato-gumi, Tasaku Ryujiro, offered to buy the whole thing and take over operations. Everyone assumed it would end in failure, but as it turned out, he received a great deal of funding behind the scenes. In this dark era, the people wanted someone to change things, so they clung to the first ray of hope they thought they saw. Plagued with crushing national debt and a dying economy, the government had no other option. A short time later, after agonizing debate, the Takasato-gumi was given full control of the Shinkoumi development and operations. None opposed the subsequent amendment to the casino bill, which slashed the public-only requirement. A year later, the city was overflowing with people in pursuit of liberty and money. Lured in by the all-compassing resort facilities, international tourism increased by 60%. And so, Shinkoumi became known as Japan's biggest casino resort. Office buildings and recreation attractions sprang Office buildings and recreational attractions sprang up one after another, creating a massive entertainment district. Next came the residential and business districts, and after that, Shinkoumi became the one bright spot amidst the devastating depression. Meanwhile, it required a certain amount of aggressive force to control a world full of unspoken rules. As Shinkoumi brought Japan's economy back to life, the Takasato-gumi began to expand their control. Eventually, when the tactic threat stopped working, the government designated Shinkoumi as a special administrative region. After that, the Takasato-gumi essentially had their own nation that they could govern as they saw fit. But this slapdash prosperity was never destined to last long. Everything began to decline at a slow, leisurely pace. Now, more than a decade later, in the year oh, it's bigger. The generation born during the decline of the early 21st century were henceforth called hapless children. Day in and day out, they traveled to the business district, either to forget their chronic depression or earn enough money to eat that day. The casino industry was still thriving, but the bubble had burst. As the Shinkoumi started to decay, criminal activity became more common. In short, it's a place run by gangs and unfair rules. Yeah. Yep, sounds like it. Nevertheless, with one last shred of hope in their hearts, they lingered in this lawless town. It's no use. This just isn't enough. Not anymore. Chapter 1. Phrase? On a quiet corner of a residential block, the clinic stood concealed among the rows of prefab houses. This tiny clinic first opened 7 years ago, privately owned by Takuma himself, specializing in internal medicine, dermatology, and gastroenterology. Dr. Marasai had an upstanding reputation that attracted patients not just from the local neighborhood, but workers from the business district too. The clinic opened its doors somewhat late at 10 a.m. From 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m., Taku would take a long lunch, and then after he got back, he'd stay open until 1 a.m. His unusual hours were dearly appreciated by night workers, who couldn't find time to go to the doctor otherwise. I had a part-time job here at this clinic. In exchange for low wages, Taku let me sleep in the apartment upstairs on the top floor of the clinic. Below that, the second floor was home to the secondary medical ward, full of hospital cots. The primary medical ward was down on the first floor next to the exam room. As for Taku himself, he didn't live here at the clinic. I never asked for this job or this rented room. It was all his idea. He wanted me to build character or something. That was why he never fired me, no matter how badly I overslept. Conversely, you could say he didn't put up any stock in me whatsoever. I didn't fight it, since it would only create more of a hassle, but I wasn't interested in improving my life. If he got sick of me and threw me out on the street, then so be it. I felt no fear towards the future. Not because I couldn't picture it, but because I had no real sense of urgency. I knew it would all work out regardless. Or maybe I just didn't have anything left to lose. As soon as I walked out of the bathroom, a yawn escaped my lips. I hadn't bothered to dry my hair. Sleepily, I scanned the room with one blurry eye. On a whim, my gaze settled on the pocket watch hanging on the easel in the corner of the room. I couldn't remember when or where I got it, but Ray put it on the easel after he found it lying around somewhere in my room. That was a few years back. The watch itself was stopped, but I didn't feel like winding it, so it was basically just there for decoration. Instead of the non-functioning pocket watch, I looked up at the wall clock. It was just past 11:15 a.m. If I didn't hurry down to the first floor, Taka was going to come raging up here any minute now. I got dressed and left the apartment without bothering to lock it behind me. Then I walked to the elevator and pressed the down button. There was nothing in that apartment worth stealing anyway. Friday, November 8th. I rode the elevator down to the first floor, then headed to the waiting room. Sitting at the reception desk where I worked with was an uptight guy by the name of Aruma Tsukasa. When he spotted me, he scowled, rose to his feet, and left the desk. The look on his face screamed, "You're late." Technically, I was supposed to be covering the reception desk, but Aruma must have come in to cover for me. This happened on occasion, and that occasion happened a lot. Oh god, the pocket watch. Isn't that the pocket watch what was in the tutorial? An aura of faded blue swayed around Aruma. Could you, see auras or something? I called this colorful aura smoke. Apparently only I could see it. Each person had their own uniquely colored smoke, which shifted depending on their mental state. The most obvious change happened when someone was angry. The color would get muddy. I couldn't see my own smoke, however. No clue when I first started seeing it. From what I could remember, I used to think everyone could see it. Once I found out that wasn't the case, I stopped telling people about it. Was it some kind of superpower? Probably not. More than likely, it was proof that something was wrong with me, like a hallucination. He's just so chill about it. Hence, I generally didn't give it much thought. I called out to Aruma in spite of his resting bitch face. He was the most reliable nurse the clinic had. Whenever his shift ended, he would go downtown to go drinking at a gay bar. Apparently, I wasn't his type. Look, I'm sorry I'm late, alright? No. Quite used to that by now. More importantly, I wish you'd take your things to your room instead of leaving them lying around. Or would you prefer I threw it all out? All mail delivered to the clinic was taken to the staff room. Arimura was in charge of sorting it. Sometimes I would buy art supplies or books online, but other than that, I never got packages. So if I received anything else in the mail, I just assumed it was junk and didn't bother collecting it. Torch the type of person to think his house... Towa... the type of person to think his house being burned down as a minor inconvenience. Go ahead. His eyes narrowed even further, but I ignored him and stepped into the staff room. The reception desk and staff room were divided by a single curtain. I pushed past it and arrived at the reception desk interior. Arimura gave me a dirty look and walked off down the hall. Oh, he's pretty though. Look at him. From here on, I would spend the next few hours bored out of my skull. The clinic was quiet, peaceful, and utterly devoid of stimulus. I called the next patient up to pay their bill. Then I set their medical exam card, insurance card, itemized bills, and prescription up on the counter. Robotically, I pressed the payment. Then, biting back another yawn, I called for the next patient to proceed to the exam room. Yep, he looks so bored. Today, my shift ended in the afternoon, so I headed back to my apartment. I lounged lazily on the sofa for a while, then after the clinic closed, I headed back downstairs. I like how everyone says he looks like roadkill, but still want to smash. No real reason, I was just bored in my apartment. Another day of hard work over at last. As I sat slumped on a bench in the empty waiting room, Taku walked out from the hallway, his orange smoke hanging over him. Stretching his arms up, he turned his head from side to side, cracking his neck so loudly I half wondered if he broke something. Good work today. Oh, that's us. Good work today. I didn't mean a word of it, though. He snorted at me. Wish I could say the same to you, Mr. Chronic Oversleeper. Hey, I worked hard. If you want me to believe that, then try waking up on time here. He pulled something out of his coat pocket and tossed it to me. I caught it and looked down. It was a can of coffee. Canned? Not fresh? Buddy, you don't deserve fresh coffee. That being said, he was still treating me to a free drink as a token of his appreciation. Taku brought canned coffee in bulk and kept it in the staff room, stocked all the time for this exact reason. Sometimes, when he was filling up to it, he'd make fresh coffee instead. But for the most part, he took the faster, easier option. Placed the orders, finished the cleaning, and I'm all done! Right as I cracked open the can, the exam room door opened and a bubbly voice rang out. Oh, it's the cutie! It was Azumi Ray, one of the other part-timers. His main job was at a bar called Roost, but since they didn't open until 5 p.m., he would often pick up shifts at the clinic to fill the time. Evidently, he wasn't working at Roost tonight, since he was still here this late. Our clinic employed 2 nurses, 4 part-timers, and 1 doctor. Great, thanks a lot. Smiling, Taku looked over at Ray and raised a hand in acknowledgement. No trouble at all. Like, don't even worry about it. Good work today. Make sure you sound dead every time you talk as Toya, unless he's flirting. But as soon as Ray laid eyes on me, he stormed right over to me. Excuse you. You totally overslept again, didn't you? Poor Aruma-kun had to pick up your slack. Just for a little. Don't try to justify it, mister. You were late. He put his hands on his hips and scolded me like he was my mom. But his smoke was bright yellow, and since it wasn't swaying, I could tell he wasn't really that angry. Born to a Japanese father and an English mother, he had a well-sculpted face. Because of this, he was wildly popular with our patients, particularly women. God, will you quit causing problems for everyone? Aruma-kun takes this job super seriously, just FYI. Yeah, you tell him. Taku leaned back against the reception counter and cracked open his can with a smirk. Believe it or not, he was pretty well liked too. Hiding beneath that stubble and post-work fatigue was a manly, rough-hewn face. Plus, the patients all praised his warm bedside manner. To them, his messy hair and stubble was rugged rather than lazy. Weird how this somehow never applied to me. Wait, where is Aruma-kun? Did he leave already? Oh yeah, he out of here. Yeah, a long time ago. Oh. Well, thanks for staying longer than your usual shift, Ray. I'm talking. You were a big help. You're very welcome. You can thank me by buying me dessert sometime. How about a parfait at the diner?
Okay.
Okie dokie. Yeah, you bought him with a parfait. As I watched our conversation from the sidelines, my gaze drifted to Taku. He looked tired. Hmm? Your face. He looked tired. Grimacing, he touched his cheek and sighed. Granted, he always looked tired, but lately it was more noticeable than ever. What's wrong? Not getting enough sleep? That's part of it, but mostly I'm just drained. Mentally? Yeah. He let out an even bigger sigh. You know how most of our patients work the night shift? During the day we get kids and old folks, but once it gets late we start getting a lot of night workers. Well, some of them have a lot of baggage, let's say, and sometimes they ask me for advice during their checkup. Oh no. Laying the world on his shoulders. Advice? Oh, you mean like mental health stuff? Right. Heavy stuff they can't tell their friends, like family problems, that kind of thing. I'm not a therapist, so I can't treat mental illness, but if they want advice, I will try my best to hear them out. I can't just ignore them, you know, and if talking about it makes it feel better, then why not? Right. See, shut up, I'm talking. Shh, shh, shh. See, I've been doing it here and there for a while now, but lately there's been a lot. What, like a lot more than usual? Are you done? Oh, I mean, it's like if you're playing the game on your own, it's really cool to have the voices and everything. I know this was originally a Japanese game, but where I'm reading it out loud, it's very annoying to have them talking and then me talking. But if I don't talk, it's just a silent playthrough. So far, I really like their designs. They're really cute, and they have like nice humor and lines and stuff. That's just my only annoyance so far. Yeah, before I get like maybe 1 or 2 a week, but now there's a ton of them. And not only that, he seemed to remember something. He stopped short and looked away. Feels like the stress has been getting a lot of them. Some of them will start screaming or crying in the middle of the conversation. Huh, I was wondering what all that yelling was about in the exam room. No, I don't want to quit the game. There's no menu button, is there? Ugh. Croquet? Oh, cool. Oh, it tells about who you're talking to. Orange color, smoke. Yellow. Dull blue. Hates me. Okay. Palette. Okay, can't do anything with the palette. Okay. Yeah, there's no menu button. Honestly, all the Towa art on Twitter is enough to make up for the annoyance. I hit a button at one time and it popped up like the side thing. I don't know what I hit though. Is it over here?
感情が高ぶってる状態の患者をないが
Ah! Oh, okay. Cool. I was wondering what all that yelling was about in the exam room. I like to offer mental health care if I can, but there's not a lot I can do. Okay.
ここにするわけにもいかんだろう。
そうね。
Uh-huh. Ah. Right. I did notice some of your appointments have been taking longer than usual lately.
対応したらいいものかってずっと考えてるんだな。
Yeah, and I keep trying to figure out what to do about it, but... Rubbing the back of his hand, Taku let out a third sigh of the night. But really, was it any wonder that more and more of his patients were starting to have mental health problems? Ah! There we go. Play fast, skip, backlog, quick save. Configure menu. Voice off. I win. Okay. Fly. Yes. I win. Okay. Over the past decade, Japan's younger generation had been plunged into the extreme poverty. A few years ago, you can see people on TV yelling about the 20 to 30 age demographic's inability to save money or find a stable career, but now it was even worse. These days, you saw women curled up in their underwear on the sidewalk while men started fights and mugged strangers. Young teenagers would dress in slutty clothes to work the corners. Compared to 10 years ago, there was a lot more murder cases, and many of them were either unsolved or dropped. The cops were useless too. They couldn't keep up with the growing number of criminals. But of course, here under the Takasato-gumi's thumb, the Shinkoumi police force was basically just there for decoration. I'm gonna miss Toya's voice. You're the first person I've seen to switch off the voices. I'm sorry, it's driving me absolutely bonkers. I have to wait for them to finish talking before I talk. The gig economy had become commonplace, so jobs were scarce. The cost of living was high, and wages were at an all-time low. The things that helped drive people to rock bottom, where they had no choice but to keep living. The nation of Japan was seeing poverty on a level that a few decades ago was never seen outside dystopian fiction. Shinkoumi had a disproportionately large number of hospitals, possibly in correlation to the crime levels. Naturally, there were plenty of unlicensed or back-alley doctors to be found here. These days, hospitals probably had to serve as battered women's shelters on top of everything else. Like Taku said, doctors had a sworn duty to help people, and people here needed help. Not just with their bodies, but with their mind, too. So basically, you got a lot of nut jobs coming in. Taku and Ray both turned to look at me. Can't say I appreciate that term. I'm just telling it like it is. I downed my coffee, set the empty can on the floor, and rose to my feet. Dude, you could have put the empty can in the trash at least. I mean, you didn't speak in the divine speaker. Granted, that was English, but it's fine. I'm not complaining. It's nice to have you read it out loud. I mean, I didn't speak in the divine speaker because it was already in English, and my viewers are English, so I didn't have to repeat it. Now, for people that are just listening to this in the background, like I do when I watch live streams a lot, if you're not a native Japanese speaker or you don't know Japanese, you won't understand what's going on if you're just listening to it. Where are you going? For a walk. Are you kidding me? Hello? But I ignored Ray's frustrated retort, walked to the front door, and left the building. Exhaling white fog into the cold air, I reached into the back pocket of my pants and pulled out my cigarettes. I'd forgotten to grab a coat, but I was too lazy to go back and get one, so I figured I'd be fine. As I walked down the dirty sidewalk, I put a cigarette between my lips and lit it. In Shinkoumi, the nights were long. If anything, it had only just begun. Like usual, I stumbled around town on a whim, looking for a one-night stand. Not because I was especially lonely or sought another human's warmth or anything like that. Sure. I felt no love, no passion, no desire. All my emotions had rusted over. Sex was just the only way I could feel anything at all. I like hearing you read it too. Thank you, Bruma. Thank you for your message and watching. I hope you're enjoying. Well, not the only way. The other way was through violence, fistfights. But what I wanted was an all-out brawl, enough to kill me. And I knew there are very few people in this world capable of that. Most people I fought had held back, even just subconsciously, afraid to hurt me beyond a certain threshold. Thus, there's no point in looking for someone special. Generally speaking, I felt very little in the way of standard human emotions. No idea when it started, but I probably wasn't born like this. You need some help, buddy. Sometimes I got irritated when people nagged me too much, but for the most part I held it in. Other people seemed to see me as an unfeeling monster. But in the rare moments that I was overcome with powerful impulses, when I was raped or beaten, that was when I truly felt joy. He needs some help. And while many were too scared to enact violence directly, there were plenty in this town that loved to hurt people on the inside. So yeah, I had a lot of hookups. If you asked me if I liked sex, I would say yes. But I wasn't interested in learning about the person attached to the dick, nor did I feel like telling them about me. He went through a lot and honestly could barely stomach it. Thank God he has amnesia. Might be a traumatic response from his childhood. Yeah. He's been through a lot here. I don't even know what he's been through, but he's definitely been through a lot. I just wanted them to use me like a fuck toy, then throw me away. That was the compromise I was willing to make. Alright, buddy? Okay, back in the apartment. No? Towa's out here the next day. I didn't work at the clinic, so I slept until noon. I woke lying on my back on the sofa. I sat up, lit a cigarette, and took a drag. In the end, I never did find a hookup last night. Instead, I picked a random bar, had some drinks, and went home. All in all, it was a pretty tame night, considering the previous night where I drank until I blacked out. Because of that, it felt lackluster. He's like, I didn't get some, and I didn't get knocked out. Something, it wasn't a fun night. I took my time enjoying my cigarette, gazing at the TV that had been left on all night. Then suddenly, a news cryon flashed up on screen. Takasato-gumi leader Tatsusaku Ryojiri, 81, dead of heart failure. My eye was locked on the white text. The leader of the Tatsugumi was dead. But then, the surprise faded. For the record, I had been informed that this man was my biological father. Okay, well that came out of nowhere. So, This guy, the freaking gang mafia leader of this entire town, is your father. Okay, I can see where some of his bad childhood. It. Yeah, I think he did have a bad childhood. Well, he's dead at 81. Did you even have any communication with him? It's like I had been informed, so I don't think he even met him. My mother was his mistress. In other words, I was his illegitimate son. That said, I had next to no memory of being around him. Frankly, I could only vaguely remember what he looked like. So I didn't have much of an emotional response to the news of his passing. Just sorta, oh, he died. I looked away from the TV and leaned back against the sofa. Just then, I heard a muffled buzzing noise and realized the cell phone on the far edge of the sofa was ringing. Sakaki. I picked it up and looked at the screen. Sakaki was calling. I could also see a series of notifications that indicated he'd been calling for a while. Towa is 26 and his dad died at 81. Oof. He probably wanted to talk about my father, and if so, I wasn't interested. I dropped the phone back onto the sofa without answering it, cigarette dangling from my lips. I stared up at the ceiling. Had no real plans for today. Maybe I'd wander around downtown. With that thought, I took a long, deep drag. Exhaling smoke, I crushed my cigarette in the ashtray. Then I rose to my feet and pulled on my coat. Now then, where to? Pardon the interruption. We will now briefly explain the exploration segments. Please bear with us for just a few moments. I got caught in a tutorial again. When an objective pops up on the screen, you know it's time for exploration. This time the objective is go somewhere. During exploration, you're free to prowl the city of Shinkoumi. You can go places, talk to people, and learn about the city. When you arrive at the correct destination, exploration will conclude and the story will progress. You can progress the story immediately if you so desire. Or you can explore the city first before you continue. You're free to play however you see fit. To check your objective, move the cursor to the right-hand edge of the screen. In this case, the objective go somewhere is let's move this party somewhere else. Okay. This is my studio. Move. Okay, clinic. Oh, we left the clinic. Okay. This is the clinic. Taku started up 7 years ago. For a small, privately run facility, it has a good reputation that draws in patients not only from the neighborhood but from the downtown area as well. The door opens a bit later than most at 10 a.m., but in exchange it stays open till 1 a.m., which is helpful for patients that work the night shift. In general, Shinkoumi has a lot of hospitals. Most of them are either single-room or large-scale facilities. So in that sense, a standalone building like the clinic is apparently rather unusual. Just then, I sensed someone's gaze and looked over. I thought I saw something slip into the shadow of a building. Or was my mind playing tricks on me? Oh, hey, he's cute. Shady green hair. Man. If you encounter someone during exploration, try talking to them. Talking to them may give you inspiration. Let's try it out. It's you. You're Towa, right? When you select talk, the hourglass and jagged line will appear. This is a simplified version of interrogation, wherein you respond with negative or positive answers. For a refresher on interrogation, check the interrogation section. On the right-hand edge of the screen, you can see it says Euphoria Up. Unlike real interrogation segments, exploration chats show the results of negative and positive answers in advance. Euphoria up means that it will raise Euphoria gauge. I bet doctors are millionaires with the amount of stabbings that happen. Probably. And Euphoria down means it will lower the gauge. Now see, what should I do? Text at the bottom of the screen. If you choose to respond accordingly, you'll gain new inspiration. Some targets don't care which way you respond. Gaining inspiration is never guaranteed, so feel free to explore every inch of the city. Now let's try it out. Wait and see, play along. So, what if I am? You're Towa, right? And the reason I know is because he knows, right? He who? I'm gonna surpass him. Or my name isn't Inada. There's no inspiration to be gained this time around. Some exploration segments offer it while others don't. Alright, so that was just a waste of time, right? Red text means it's a special segment where no inspiration is available. But blue text means inspiration is out there just waiting to be found. You'll see blue text most often, red text is less common, but because this is tutorial, it counts as special exploration. This concludes the exploration tutorial. Now I can go back to enjoying slow damage. Really? Now he's not going to talk to me? I call shenanigans. This is District E's residential area. If you live in Shinkoumi, chances are high your apartment's in District E. District E is full of skyscrapers, all of them high-rise condo buildings. It's an attempt to make the most living space out of critically limited land area. The downdraft from all the skyscrapers creates strong winds in the area. There are two situations I know that if you answer correctly, we get not safe for work scenes with. Well, that's not till later, I think. Because you said it's safe at the beginning. Not to mention the majority of these buildings aren't up to code, so if we get hit with a major earthquake, they'll probably collapse. But the residents of District E choose to live here anyway. Someone concerned with safety wouldn't dare live in Shinkoumi in the first place. No, don't say it again. Guess there's nothing to click on, huh? What is with the palette? Move. Yeah, I see you trying to tease me there, Aurelia. You little troll. Yeah, it's safe. Okay, thank you. Daddies? It's called Daddies! Really? Hair salon A+. This is the main street at the center of District E. For the most part, residents of District E pass through here to do their shopping. With all the diners, convenience stores, discount stores, and drugstores packed in like sardines, it's easy to find what you need. The streets are busy, though not as packed as District D. Everywhere you look, there's people working or people getting wasted. The traffic light changed and the crowd started walking. But just then, I spotted a familiar face out the corner of my eye. It was Ray, carrying a paper bag in one hand. Oh, I like your jacket. Oh, hi, Towa. What are you doing here? I'm just wandering. You? On my way back from Tajima's. She gave me a bunch of stuff, so I thought I'd share with some with Taku. Again? It was a thank you for helping her. Talk. Oh, that reminds me. I left a croquet in the fridge for you. Did you eat it? Be like, no, I haven't opened the fridge in a year. I ate a little. I haven't eaten it. I ate a little. Let's be nice. Towa can go and buy himself a dad that cares about him. Yes, yes.
え
For real? Just a
や
bite.
った
Still, that's a big step for you. It made him so happy. I added condensed milk when I was making them. It's supposed to improve the consistency. Condensed milk and croquets? It sounds crazy, but it works. You taste it yourself, right? Well, yeah. Next time, I think I might try rice
戻らなく
croquets.
ちゃ
Anyway, I'm headed back to the clinic. Alright. I made him so happy. Okay, we've literally been everywhere. I returned to my apartment. When I left, the TV was on, but now the familiar static drone was gone. Instead, I could hear a faint rustling
お
sound.
うとわ
Oh, hey, you're back. Yeah. Welcome home. I was just tidying up in here. If I put it off for too long, the whole place turns into a pigsty.
なあ
Seeing as you're here, why don't you help me out a bit? Negative. Too much hassle. Sure, why not?
わかった
Sure thing. It's not often you actually do as you're told. Sometimes I'll feel like it.
へえ
Alright then, thanks in advance. We're being a nice boy.
よし
There, now it's a bit cleaner. Here's your reward for helping. He pulled a pack of green gum from his pocket. Mint flavor, apparently. Got it from a patient, but since you still smoke, you probably need it more than I do, right?
別に
I prefer the taste of tobacco. Aw, don't be like that. Just take it. He pressed it into my hand and I reluctantly accepted it. Of course, I give it about a week before you turn this place into a mess again. If you could make it every 2 weeks instead, I'd appreciate
それ
it.
じゃあな
Anyway, I'm out of here. Alright. Off to the snack shop. Oh, so we're going to the snack shop now? When did that happen? Oh, Tajima's. He just said we stink in the nicest way. Yeah. On one corner of the residential neighborhood sat a little old shop forgotten by time. It was a snack store called Tajima's, run for many years by a little old octogenarian lady. So she's in her 80s? In most cases, the expanding casino industry forced evictions on older homes and stores, but Tajima's fought eviction every step of the way, and now it was the last of its kind in the area. Fortunately, Tajima's was popular with middle-aged folks looking for a nostalgic taste of their youth. Plus, it attracted younger people curious about traditional stacks. Every now and then, I'd stop by and grab some. I wasn't a big fan of junk food or anything, but for some reason, the shop felt like home. I walked up, stood at the door, and peered inside. The cramped interior was packed to the gills with sweets and snacks of every kind. Hidden among them was a white-haired, stony-faced woman standing as still as a statue. Come on in. Why did I give her a southern accent? She sounded irritable. Reluctantly, I stepped inside. But though she may have looked angry, she was always like that. Hanging on the wall above the clutter was a painting with a layer of black over it. I kept wondering about it every time I came by. It was the only thing that didn't feel homey like the rest of the store. Maybe the owner just liked spooky stuff. Are you buying or not? She snapped at me as I stood there without browsing. Her smoke was a deep, dark brown. Not once had I ever seen it waver. I grabbed some stuff at random and brought it to the counter. Good grief. With every passing day, the city keeps changing. I'm terrified that one day you'll all go to shit, she muttered to herself as she pecked away on her antique cash register. This old woman was one of the few who'd lived here since before the Shinkoumi became a casino resort, and she knew what it used to be like. She would always blather on and on regardless of whether anyone was listening, but some people found value in her stories of the old days. It was never this filthy before, I'll tell you. Used to be you could let your daughters play outside, but now the streets are full of sluts and whores, men and women alike. And you're one of them, you understand me? Yeah. I nodded absently. Truth be told, I liked her. I felt like she was the only person still living in the old times, so the whole world changed around her. Because of that, she was an outsider here. Day in, day out, I hear about this death and murder. Now when I see a dead body, I don't even care. It's not right, I tell you. I'd sooner die protecting my stores than lick the boots of that Yakuza scum. That'll be 240 yen. I pulled a 1,000 yen bill out of my pants pocket and handed it to her. Keep the change. You sure? Yeah. Thanks for your business. She took the money without complaint. She handed me my items without a bag, and for the first time I stopped to look at what I bought. He didn't even know what he bought, he just grabbed crap. Then I stuffed it all in my coat pockets and headed for the door. As I stepped outside, however, I realized the old lady had followed me out. Come by again sometime, she muttered under her breath with a scowl. I waved and turned and set off down the street. I think she likes us. In her old ladiness. Late that night, Taku, Rin, and I paid a visit to the local diner. Taku had promised to buy Rin a parfait, and tonight was the time for him to pony up. That said, the three of us usually ended up at this diner anyway, since it was still open when the clinic closed. That is. I was downtown at the time, so they invited me over the phone. When we sat down at our table, Taku ordered the Salisbury steak special. Ray got the steak fried rice and parfait, and I got a coffee. Yeah, boy, food. Food. While they ate their food, I slowly sipped my drink. This was pretty commonplace for me. And yet every time it happened, like clockwork, Ren would tell me how it's not healthy and it's going to kill you one of these days. Sure enough, I could hear him grumbling about something, but the moment they put his parfait down on the table, his whole face lit up. Oh, look. He's such a happy boy. We look like a friggin' zombie over here in the corner. Oh my god, these strawberry cream parfaits are so good. Strawberry cream, I want one. He squeezed his eyes shut and squealed in delight. I bet the guy who makes them appreciates how much you like them. Taku sipped his post-dinner coffee with a wiry grin. He wasn't a big fan of sugary stuff, so he couldn't really relate. I'll appreciate anything he wants to make because he's doing great. Ray stirred his parfait with a spoon, a dreamy smile on his face. I don't know why, but these people seem happier than the people that live in normal society. This only lasted until I put a cigarette between my lips and start to light it. Towa is a hot zombie. Excuse you, I'm still eating here. Uh-huh. Don't you uh-huh me, mister. We're in the smoking section, remember? Yeah, but there's such a thing as common decency. Taku already quit, so you should too. This name may not mean much coming from me, but trust me, there ain't nothing good about smoking. I ignored their complaints, lit my cigarette, and took a drag. Instantly, Ray's smoke went from yellow to red, mingling with the cigarette smoke. I swear to God, everything's cigarettes and alcohol with you. You're such a great artist, but you're so boring. Ray let out an exaggerated sigh. Sulking, he put his elbow on the table and his chin in his hand. All the most famous artists were weirdos, you know? Alcoholics, womanizers, all different stripes. Maybe it's that weirdness that makes them so artistic. I guess so, but I'll tell you one thing. It doesn't make them fun to hang out with, at all. Well, you're wasting your time complaining about Towa. He's always been like this. It was the harsh truth. And yet he has a secret cute side. A devilish grin crept up on Ray's face. He's looking over here now like, what? Cute side? I'm talking about that little bunny plushie you have in your room. You say you don't care about it, and yet you never throw it away. You like it, don't you? No. I did have a bunny plushie in my apartment, but I wasn't particularly attached to it. I just randomly spotted it at a store one time and I wanted to buy it, so I did. I hadn't really touched it or thought about it since, and now it's set collecting dust in the corner. You sure you don't snuggle with it at bedtime? Towa eats cigarettes and drinks alcohol for lunch and has smecks for dinner. Oh, I didn't read that. I didn't read what you wrote there. You sure you don't snuggle with it at bedtime? Oh my god, are you secretly like super adorable? As Taku teased me, Ray joined in. Ignoring their idiocy, I turned away and took another slow drag of my cigarette. That reminds me, aren't you going to the deathmatch arena tonight? No, not tonight. One of my teammates had to cancel. Oh, I see. The deathmatch arena was a special section of the town located in District A at the center of Shinkoumi. It was once ground zero for a lot of infighting. As a result, the whole district was torn apart and the residents were barred entry. Naturally, this attracted a lot of seedy types. Eventually, it became known as a place for fistfights, and people started using it as a battlefield to test their strength. Nowadays, anyone who wanted to fight could meet up in District A to take part in what was now referred to as a death match. Of course, the Takasato-gumi had noticed this, but they chose not to interfere. Here in Shinkoumi, plenty of people were frustrated with the tyranny of the Takasato-gumi, not to mention the struggles of living in poverty. So, they let them have their death matches in District A, if it meant they could vent their stress. Their one restriction, they would hassle anyone who tried to live there or start a business there. Other than that, they didn't get involved. Believe it or not, taking part in the death matches was something of a hobby for Ray. He always went with his buddies from Roost. Supposedly, they were actually among the top contenders, but death matches weren't my thing, so I didn't know if that was true. Judging from their looks, you wouldn't think that they were seasoned fighters, except for the rare occasion they turned up sporting cuts and bruises. I don't mind if you're just having a little fun, but don't get too crazy. Lately I heard there have been some real nasty types lurking around. Yeah? I know, but it's super fun to kick their asses. Nothing feels better. Alright then, I imagine the Takasato-gumi is going to have a tough time getting ahead of them, so both of you keep your heads down. Don't know if the low-ranking goons will start any shit, but the bigger ones almost certainly will. That's okay, they can try, but I'll just shut them up with my fist. To prove his point, Ray flashed up his fist. Taku grinned wryly. Save the punching for your death matches, alright? Oh, I will. You bought me a parfait, so I'll do whatever you tell me to be honest. It was super good, thanks a bunch. In a blink, Ray had polished off his parfait. He set down his spoon with a satisfied smile. Well, we got work tomorrow. Let's call it a night. Right, see you tomorrow. And Towa, you better get some actual sleep. No bar hopping, no hookups, you hear me? Yeah. With a non-committal response, I crushed my cigarette with the ashtray. In the ashtray. Taku rose to his feet, grabbed his check, and took it over to the registered. Thank you for treating me! Right as Ray got up, he suddenly turned back to me. Wait a minute, he's paying for yours too? Well, I only ordered a coffee. Whenever we went out to eat, Taku would always pay for my order, probably because there's only one extra drink. Ren donned a melodramatic frown and glanced at me out of the corner of his eye. Everyone always waits on you hand and foot, don't they? Are they scared you'll wander away like a stray cat? probably are, to be honest. Beats me. Ray slays at fist fighting. I shrugged, and together we headed for the exit. The next day, I wasn't scheduled to work at the clinic, so I woke up around noon. Didn't we just... Okay, didn't work 2 days in a row? Taku came up to my room on his break and invited me out to lunch. Ray wasn't scheduled to work until later in the afternoon, so he wasn't around yet. I got dressed and accompanied Taku out of the building. Yeah, I think they do think of him as like a, stray cat. Manager, thank you for waiting. The manager set down 2 mugs of coffee, followed by 2 plates of their famous honey toast. Honey toast? I want to try that. Once everything we ordered was on the table, he bowed quietly and headed back into the kitchen. In these parts, Yanagawa Cafe was a popular lunch spot. The place first opened over 20 years ago, and the building's retro, read outdated, style offered its own special charm. It was about a 5-minute walk from the clinic, so I often found myself here. It all started when I was walking one day and saw the dimly lit interior through the front windows. It caught my interest, so I went in, and the rest is history. The cafe always played jazz music over the speakers, and the customers were relaxed. Their prices were relatively high, but seeing as they were still in business, they clearly had enough regular customers to keep them afloat. Oh, that looks good. The cafe's biggest selling points? Freshly ground coffee and honey toast. Even Taku liked their toast, and he was notoriously uninterested in sweets. Alright, let's eat. He pressed his hands together to say grace, and picked up his knife and fork and started cutting up his toast. I crushed my lit cigarette into the ashtray and took a sip of my coffee. I can never get enough of this stuff. That's saying something, coming from a guy who never eats desserts. Well, that's coming from somebody who never eats. You literally... Cigarettes, coffee, alcohol. There you go. That's all this boy consumes. Yeah, maybe it's the natural sweetness of the honey mixed with the texture of the toast. Reminds me of the pancakes I'd eat as a kid. Look, they even got you eating it. Oh, so he is eating it! Okay, never mind. He likes honey toast. And you hardly eat anything. Yeah... I don't know why, I just kind of eat it. Are you kidding me? Laughing, Taku slid a forkful of toast into his mouth. In a blink, he had somehow already eaten half of the damn thing. Only then did I finally pick up my own knife and fork and start eating. Light-haired host. So anyway, I guess there was this crazy dude there. Dark-haired host. Ooh, I like the dark-haired host. Look at his piercings and he's got purple eyes. What do you mean crazy? What kind of crazy? Like I said before, he's 5% honey toast. As we were busy eating, the conversation from the table next to us carried over, filling the silence. I mean crazy, like crazy strong. Everybody said he was ridiculous overpowered. I mean, the Takasato-gumi's been scouting all the strongest deathmatch fighters, right? So of course he's strong. For a fraction of a second, Taku fell still. No, I mean like really strong. How strong is really strong? I'm talking poker face, one punch, KO kind of strong. For real, you do not want to fuck with this guy. They said he went rogue against the whole gang. For real? Yeah, man. He killed his Aniki and got out of there. What, like his older brother? Yeah, Aniki is older brother. I know that because of the Duro anime. No, stupid. You know how these Yakuza types have a hierarchy? Your Aniki is like your boss. Oh, that kind of Aniki. Wait, but isn't that like dishonorable or whatever? Like deep shit? The deepest shit, man. That's why the gang had him punished. Made him go poof. That's one hell of a punishment, all right. I bet the Takasato-gumi could disappear a couple of guys, no problem. Taku finished eating his honey toast in silence, but his expression looked stiff. Probably due to the subject matter. In this town, you couldn't walk 2 steps without hearing someone gossiping about the Takasato-gumi. Some of it was true, a lot of it wasn't. But like a game of telephone, a lot of details got lost along the way, so only a small fraction knew the facts. The guys next to us were just recounting stuff they heard from elsewhere. Almost every rumor was tarnished with embellishments born of speculation or assumption, and this one was no different. It wasn't easy to discover the unvarnished truth buried beneath. For example, I would never know the real Taku, and we'd never know the real me. Just because we'd known each other for years and didn't mean we understood everything about each other. Then the subject changed to something else, and a few minutes later, the 2 guys left to pay their bill. Once they were gone, Taku finally broke his bitter silence. Golly, those Yakuza sure are popular, aren't they? I ate my cold toast without responding. As it happened, I knew the guy they were gossiping about. A lot about him, in fact. Believe it or not, that fight happened while I was still in the gang. But I didn't want to remember him, so I actively avoided thinking about his face or name. The fact that they can sit around and gossip, I want to live there. At least I would have friends not working 14-hour shifts. Yeah, for real. Have people to hang out with. They probably just don't have anything better to talk about. I shrugged and Taku nodded slightly, still grimacing. I guess so. Meanwhile, unpleasant memories rose to mind. I first joined the Takasato-gumi back when my mother died. When I was in middle school, she died in an accident. A Yakuza named Sakaki came and told me she was his gang leader's mistress. There I learned his name was Takasaku Ryojuro, and he was my father. As a kid, I only knew Sakaki as a good friend of my mother's. I never knew he was in a gang. After her death, he tried his best to look out for me. Then one thing led to another, and I joined the gang. No real reason he invited me to join, so I figured I would. To him, my mother was a dear friend, and he would always reminisce about her. Because of that, he didn't feel like some Yakuza thug. He felt like family. As for my actual family, I couldn't remember much of them, or anything that happened prior to my mother's death. I vaguely recalled that I had a little sister. Finny, hello! Hello! Thank you for popping in! Oh, I had to yawn. We're playing some slow damage today. We're checking out this world. And he's currently reminiscing about his past right now. I vaguely recalled that I had a little sister, but I couldn't remember what she looked like. At the time of my mother's accident, I was injured and sent to the hospital. Maybe that had something to do with it. I stroked the eye patch over my right eye. There's no point looking back. It was all in the past. Even without my childhood memory, I was still right here, living and breathing. I looked down at the table. Taku had stabbed his fork into my cold, half-eaten honey toast. He was trying to steal our toast! Then, without batting an eye, he dragged it over to his own plate. He stole our toast! You're gonna eat that? You don't want it, right? He made it sound like he was entitled to eat my leftovers. He had a point, though. I wasn't planning on eating the rest, but still. I laid my knife and fork to rest. Dude, you should have got your toast back. I didn't get the notification about your stream last week. Sorry. That's fine. Yeah, I hear that the notifications don't always, go out, apparently. I do make a I do have a couple of locations that I post that I'm going live. One is in my Discord, and then I have another messenger chat thing going on. I do post and warn people that I'm going live because notifications don't work a lot of the times, apparently. But hey, how you doing? I would have got my honey toast, okay? I would have stabbed it and got it back. But apparently this guy, he just doesn't eat. Then I lit a cigarette, took the longest possible drag, and blew it all back at him. Hey, stop that. Only just managed to kick the habit, you know. Grimacing, Taku waved a hand in front of his face. Well then, I'm testing to make sure you're not still addicted. Save it for later, I'm eating. I fixed him with an impish grin. Scowling, he went back to the rest of the honey toast. Yeah, I joined your Discord recently, but I forgot about it. Oh, you did join? Ooh, thank you for joining. I do have a tab, or a... Hang on. I do have a part on there that says, stream alerts or something. I don't know how to set it up to actually send notifications to people, but that's where I post, when I'm going live. Let me see. Yeah, Sparrow video alerts. Oh, you must have a different name, but thank you for joining. That's so nice. Towa, if you don't stand up and fight for your honey toast. Yeah, we need our honey toast. Yeah, we stream, or I stream every Wednesday about 12 to 1 p.m. East Central Time is when I go live, and I normally stream for about 2 hours. It depends on when I went live. Just so you know, I try to stream every Wednesday. Like, today, I am feeling a bit under the weather, so you guys are lucky to get a stream today. But yeah, I would have, like, jumped across that table and got my toast back. Toya, be more concerned. As he wolfed down a few more bites, I smirked at him. What? You got a hearty appetite, that's all. And you don't have much of an appetite at all. He has no appetite. What are you talking about? I mean, it's basically I'm almost always here. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah, is always here. Yeah, he has no appetite. He wiped his mouth roughly with a napkin and rose from the table. Oh, is it hay fever? I'm also suffering from it right now. No, it's a bit of a headache. I'm like a chronic headache sufferer. I get a lot of headaches. So it's a headache today. It's not bad, so I can kind of tolerate it, but come on, let's go. He grabbed the check and headed over to the register to pay. I crushed my cigarette in the ashtray and then followed after him. You just lit it! You just lit the cigarette! You're wasting it! Yeah, I saw that channel with notifications about streams, but I was distracted. Yeah, it happens. I am very distractible, so it's understandable. Yeah, it's almost the end of our stream time, actually. After we left the cafe and I parted ways with Taku, I wandered around town for a while. Then once the sun set, I headed to the park. The place was deserted on a winter night, and the white glow of the street lamps made it look even more desolate. I sat down on the chilly metal bench and lit another cigarette. I wasn't ready to go home yet, so I was trying to kill time. As I watched a pale smoke float up in the dark sky, I heard a commotion in the distance. Several pairs of footsteps were approaching, and when they passed under the streetlight, I recognized them instantly. Ooh! Ooh, I like how he's got, like, his shoulders showing and, like, tattoos. That's really cool. See, I told you it was Toya. Whoa, you were right. Toya-san! Look at him! Kotaro, Mayu, and Iji were 3 guys I knew very well. They walked right over to me. You got good eyesight considering the distance of and how dark it is out here. Yeah, I have eyes like a hawk. I can see everything very clearly. Given how much anime you watch, it just doesn't add up. No, anime trains my eyes. I'm speedrunning working on Magenta, and it's really cozy with your stream on the background, actually. Aww. How is Magenta coming along? Oh, look how sexy he's posing. Anyway, Toya, what are you up to out here? Tanned, muscular Kotaro bent over to get a good look at my face. You could say he had a wild side, or a short temper, depending on how you looked at it. Were you staring into space? Oh, this is Mayu, okay. Were you staring into space, thinking dirty thoughts? Hee hee hee. Mayu cackled around the lollipop in his mouth. He was the tallest and leanest of the 3, and he dressed like he found his clothes in the dumpster. Oh, I should be arrested for cooking eggs in this temperature. Oh, yeah. Hello, Mitsui. How are you? Yeah, oh my gosh, it is so miserable. It is just hot. I'm like sitting in the one room with like AC, and I've got it cranked up, and I take one step outside of the room and it's just like I want to melt. Oh, you're gonna love him. He's one of the side hookups and an otaku. Ooh. Why don't we set off a bomb or 2 for fun? That'll wake you up. The guy in the beanie was Iji. He was an expert at information gathering and bomb assembly. Using the power of social media, he had a vast information network they used to collect all kinds of intel. I had slept with Kotaro and Mayu a couple of times out of boredom, but never with Iji. So, we have slept with these 2. Well, you said it looked like he got his clothes out of the dumpster. Did you sleep with him in the dumpster? Is that how you know? The script of Magenta is like a lot bigger right now. A lot. I hope I'll be able to finish it before August the 1st. And I added Easter eggs about you. I hope you don't mind. Oh, you added an Easter egg about me? Holy... Oh, that's so sweet. That is so cool. Thank you. Thank you. I look forward to finding it. That is so cool. I'm like grinning over here. No one has ever done that. I haven't been in any games yet. I'm like so excited to play more Magenta. I really loved it. Aw, thank you. But we slept with these 2. But never with Iji. Why haven't you slept with Iji then? He told me he wasn't really into sex stuff. Okay, that's why. Pink, red, and green. Kotaru's smoke was red. Maya's was fuchsia. And Iji's was a blue-green color. Heh, I was just having a smoke. So you're bored, huh? Want to come with us to the deathmatch arena? With a grin, Kotaro straightened up and jerked his chin in the direction of District A. Too lazy. Pass. Guys, you're just gonna have to like throw him over your shoulder and drag him with you. Ohelia's asking if you're making the visual novel by yourself. If so, salute you. I'm struggling. I'm back. I finished the cooking part. Did you melt? Misugi, did you melt making the eggs? Ohilia, are you in a visual novel developer team as well? Ohilia is working on her own visual novel, and I'm actually working on a visual novel too, but mine's going at like a snail's pace. But yeah, we've got a lot of visual novel devs in chat today. I knew you would say that. I knew it. 100%. Not like you have anything better to do, right? Just humor your former brothers and come with us. Blood brothers? I never performed any sake ritual with you. Kotaru, Maru, and Iji were all former guns for hire that got recruited to the Takasato-gumi. Kotaru and Maru were scouted via death matches after they proved their fighting skills. As for Iji, supposedly he got invited to join after he hacked the social media accounts and websites for one of the businesses. Of course, they were by no means the only people recruited this way. In fact, I heard of people taking part in death matches specifically to try to get in with the gang. Speaking of rituals, Toya, you didn't show up to your old man's funeral. Kotaru smirked. Like hell I would. The funeral was this afternoon and there was a midnight vigil last night. Cool. You really don't care at all, do you? Nope. No, I'm doing it by myself, struggling on removing backgrounds on sprites. So really a team. Yes, I'm a snowman now. Also, the eggies cook too fast. Oh no! Oh no, the eggies. Poor eggies. I sincerely didn't. What, did it matter to me if some total stranger kicked the bucket? Whatever. Now let's get to the deathmatch arena. Come on! You might like it if you give it a try. Not a chance. Then what if we set off a bunch of bombs and blow the whole place sky high? That'll be really fun for a second or two. Until we die, dumbass. Ouch. Kotaru snorted and flicked Eiji's forehead. Quit your bitching and let's go already, Toya. Come on your feet. He grabbed my arm and hauled me up against my will. Once he had his mind set on something, it was impossible to get him to change it. He kept a firm hold on me as we walked, like he was worried I was gonna bolt. He's a stray cat. He'll just wander off somewhere. The higher-ups told us to stay out of the matches, so we can't do a damn thing. But you can fight to your little heart's content. Man, I envy you. I'm just aching to get back to it. You still get to beat people up when you're out debt collecting, right? Well, that's our job. It's their fault for not paying the money. You say that, but you two sure love to chase them up and down the street. Me, I'm way too scared. Liar, you don't gotta chase anybody because your job is digging up dirt on them for blackmail. Yes, of course. Here in, Shinkoumi, I'm a master of intel. And bombs. Ha. Inji donged a big cheesy smile and Kotaru scoffed. We're having 3 convos in chat that has nothing to do with slow damage. Hey, Crescent! Hello! A giant 1.5 meter fan is blowing in my room and it's still hot. Oh no. I have a air conditioner in my room. It is on medium right now, so... Oh goodness. I haven't seen one of your lives in a while. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. Hello. We're actually right here close to the end of the live, actually. Toya's way too lazy to bolt, even if someone would be leading him to death and he wouldn't bother enough to run. Yeah, I'm kind of getting those vibes. Here in Shikoumi, as the poverty gap widened, many were burdened with large debts. Any debtor unable to make payments were mercilessly hounded by the uh, Takasato-guns. My brain's just not braining today. And if that debt reached a certain size, the debtor would get a chip known as a web tag implanted in them. Web tagged debtors were then tracked via surveillance towers erected all over Shikoumi. They were forbidden to set foot outside the city until their debt was repaid. If they tried to leave, the Tatsugumi would send pursuers to hunt them down and kill them, no questions asked. You might wonder how the gang got their money back if the debtor was dead, but corpse had plenty of monetary value. Come on, if we're going, then let's just go. I want to get home and watch my anime that I recorded. I mean, he's got his priorities straight. I'll rewatch it later then. Okay, cool. Maya was already looking away like he'd lost interest in the conversation. Will you shut up, you damn anime otaku? Anyway, don't you think that... Okay, sorry. Okay. Oh, he's talking about a bird in the game. I thought I was having, like... Oh, God. A moment. I was so confused. It says, anyway, don't you think that sparrows had too much popcorn? So greedy, it looks like it's gonna pop. I was like, how did it know my name? Is it one of those weird ones where it figures out what your name is and use it in the game? No. Oh, God. Oh. A bird in the game, not me. Okay. I mean, this is set in 2021. Should he be on Crunchyroll? He probably is. What? Where? I don't see it. But I guess nobody with regular old human eyes can compete with yours. What? Maybe you should all watch anime like me. Let's watch anime. I vote to watch anime. Let's go watch anime with that guy. No thanks. Damn. He tried. Trapped in Kotaru's tight grip and stuck in the middle of their inane banner, I left the park behind. Kind of miss Fundimation. Yeah, it bit the dust. I played Era 146. Really good, not gonna lie. Like, yeah, it's like been popping up on my feed. It's in one of my to play later things. Didn't they make like a sequel to it or a side game as well? Just Kiss Him Already is good. Oh, the name, Just Kiss Him Already, the anime, okay. Might be wrong with the numbers, lol. I know which one you're talking about, though. District A, also known as the Deathmatch Arena, was a place forbidden to the average citizen, not that they want to visit. How did I pop up the side thing earlier? Yeah, like that. Okay, it was right click. There, I saved. Wait, that's work in progress, continue, and that's start the story. Okay. This is an interesting menu. I like the menu. No, wait, sorry, error 143. The Error 143 game is good, but other stuff like DLCs are a bit weird. Not gonna lie, but I recommend it anyway. Yeah, I hadn't played it yet. Hang on. Okay. Up it, up it, up it, up it. We're gonna just boop. Doop doop doo. There we go. There we go. I can just chill for a while. Wee. Oh. Good timing. I'm about to get off the train. Bye. Okay, so perfect timing. Hope you have a good day, Ohilia. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, they made a day 5. Day 5. Wow, so they have quite a few days going on in there. Like, it is in my of interest area, but I do have other games that are a little higher up on the to play list. But I literally have several hundred games on my to play list. I have so many I need to catch up on. And I'm playing A Date with Death 9 hours in. Holy crap, I think I've only played like an hour of it. I need to try picking it up again. I've currently been playing Purple. As you can tell by the channel. I did reach an ending in Purple. It hasn't been posted yet. Because I still need to edit it. Because, I got distracted and played like 3-4 hours at a time. So I have to edit it all. But, I'm really enjoying Purple. Because I've been waiting for a really long time for the full release. I only got one ending, so I still got like 5 more endings to go. But I'm going to space out the rest of it a little bit more so I can play some more indie games. I have a lot to play. I have them all like downloaded on the computer too, so I have a massive folder. Have a good day. I hope you have a good day too. Try to stay cool and enjoy your crispy eggs, okay? Make sure to pop in next week. I don't know what we're going to play yet. I'll probably put a poll up on the channel if I remember, to see what you guys are interested in seeing next week. But next week it will be at about 12 p.m. East Central Time is whenever my stream will start. Right around that time, so that is a good time to pop back in. I had gotten a lot of requests to play Slow Damage from Ohilia, so I was like, we are going to actually try it out this week. I don't know if we'll pick it up next week though. We're just throwing everything at the wall and see what sticks. But I thank you everybody for joining. I hope everybody has a lovely day, whether you're working on a game, trying to survive the heat, or commuting to work. And I will see you guys next time. And I'm gonna go make noodles. I'll try to visit your next stream. I love it. I hope you do, Finny, and try to jump in the Discord a bit more when you have extra time, because I'm going to be posting stuff, and we might have some Discord-only streams coming up in the future. Alright. Bye!